Join us today for a review of a new BattleTech product from Gale Force 9, part of their Hextech line. This would be pre-painted buildings, in this case, the estate. Welcome back to those who've been here before. Welcome to those who are new to the channel. This is the Geek Cabal channel. My name is Bob.
I'm Jim.
And today we're going to be covering a new BattleTech product. This is from the good folks at Gale Force 9. These are pre-painted buildings. This particular set is known as the estate. If you saw our previous reviews for the Justice Tower, that was a single building. This actually comes with two buildings. So let's get into this one here and see what we have. I picked these up at Gen Con here recently, although they should be available on the Gale Force 9 website. And if I'm on top of things, I will put a link to that in the description. And also, just to be clear, we're in no way associated with Gale Force 9 or anything, so this is just us talking about it. We don't get money for this or anything.
Unless they want to be associated with us.
Yes, if Gale Force 9 would like to be associated with it, we'd be more than happy to review their products that they could send to us.
So is this two for the price of two?
Kind of, yeah. So if you saw the Justice Tower video, if I'm remembering correctly, the Justice Tower was $30, but it's a single building. And I believe this was $35 or $40 for two buildings. Now, like in terms of mass, I think these two buildings, there's probably less mass here than there is for the Justice Tower. But that's because you're talking two smaller buildings. And as I mentioned in the other one, just because these are named what they're named is totally meaningless to what you should use them as. Like, use them for whatever buildings you want to use them as.
Yeah, I think they could just give them names just so that you have an idea.
They've got to have something. Like, these could be condos or business buildings or any number of things.
Well, one thing we've noticed is that they've definitely packaged these very well.
Yes, if you didn't see the Justice Tower video, it was similarly packaged, but it's a single building. That's why we planned ahead and Jim provided the industrial strength shears here.
But it makes sense why they would do that because...
as mentioned in the other video, in case you didn't see it, these are resin. So they can, at least in theory, break. I mean, everything can break, but resin is a harder material. And so similar to Dwarven Forge, there's the possibility it could chip. Although, Jim, grab one of those and you tell me if it feels like resin to you. Because resin it feels almost like stone.
Yeah.
And this feels more like rubbery, which is why I initially thought it was more like the Dwarvenite material that Dwarven Forge uses. Though not the same, because it's a proprietary material. But it's not. I asked the guy, and he specifically, and again, I apologize I didn't get the man's name, but he worked there at their booth, that he said it is in fact resin.
Yeah, that's probably what it is. They probably put something in that softens it a little bit.
That's distinctly possible.
Because resin is it's a chemical, so you can add stuff into it to when it sets up, that it doesn't set up as rigid as some, but
so I realized I forgot to mention this in the video for the Justice Tower, so hopefully you're seeing this now if you just watch it. These do have a felt bottom on them where it connects to their base. So it doesn't, if you use them without the base, like if you're playing for Alpha Strike and not using the hex rules, you can just use the building just by itself. And it's not going to do anything to your table because of the felt. But the base does have a carve out here for it. And unlike the Justice Tower, there are two of these. The Justice Tower is the only lone building. All the others as a set is a pair of buildings. One painted in the tan color and the other in the darker color over here. And these each take up 3 hexes. Here's the comparison to a battle mech. These don't have like prearranged places up on top like the Justice Tower. That's like AC equipment up there. So that, of course, if your mech has jump jets, that will not stop it from getting up there. That's an illegal position, though. It'd have to be like this, I believe. So, nothing really stopping you. I'd have to read further into the rules, but I do believe the hardness of the building determines if the mech just smashes through the roof and starts going down on the inside. I believe that's how that works. Because I know on the map sheets, the buildings, I think, have a hardness rating of some kind on them. So, yeah, I'm probably just going to use these as office. These look like generic office buildings to me. This is one I would probably buy multiples of just to fill out the city. Because the others, to me, looked a little more specific for what their function is, which again doesn't like the university didn't look anything like a university I've ever seen. It looked like an office tower that had another chunk that went up about halfway on the building. I don't know, it just didn't look like a university to me. But these to me are like generic future office buildings or condos or something. They're just tall buildings. There's no flair to them, but you don't have to paint them. The paint job is exceptional on them.
Yeah.
So, if these were 35, $40, yeah, I mean, I think they're definitely worth it. So, I expected them to be quite a bit more, given the prices of everything else. So I was very surprised at the price. And then here, if we want a bit of a comparison here, in terms of size, that's what the Justice Tower looks like compared to it. So it's quite a bit bigger at the base, and it's taller on height. Yeah. And you also notice, hopefully you can see this, but if you can't, just have to use your imagination here. Well, actually, hang on. I know a way we can do this. I'll show you without the buildings. There's no way that a mech can move between them. They're too close together. So that's why Gale Force 9 is also going to be making a road set. Actually, the guy told me there's going to be a couple different sets. There's like the generic, straights and curves, and another one's going to have more complicated stuff. If I understood him correctly, and I apologize if I'm giving people false information on that. And also a hill set, and the hills are going to be so that you can stack the hexes, and so that you can be like, this is a level 3, this is a level 4, things like that. And those are supposed to both be out in the fall, and he seemed pretty excited about them, so I can't wait to see them. I don't think I'm going to buy a bunch of them to fill out my map, but I would like to see them. I might buy some roads to go along with some of the buildings, so I can make a city just in the middle of the map. But we'll see how that works out. But yes, this avoids the one major time sink that BattleTech has, which is painting. Because it does take a while to paint the battle mechs, which is why I've only painted a few of them. I should film that at some point. Bring those over, show you guys the ones I've painted already. I'm not a master painter by any stretch, but I'd like to think they're above. They're definitely above just dipping them in paint for a single color. Like I've done quite a bit more than that. But a lot of the detail work I haven't like what they call jeweling on the cockpit, which is where you make it look like the light's hitting it at a certain angle to cause like a reflection. Yeah, that's not happening. So, although I'm probably not going to do a review for them, but I did buy some decals from the Ironwind Metal booth, so I can actually put the emblems on some of them. By the way, they're all for the glory of the Chancellor of House Lau, so hopefully you guys like House Lau. A lot of people don't. Like, a lot of the fans hate House Lau. But they're mainly Davian fanboys, so I don't know. The godless Kiritans, one of the two. Not House Merrick. House Merrick just kind of exists. People have to remember they're actually there sometimes. I'm serious. In the fiction, they're just kind of there. Everyone's got their thing. Then Merrick's, oh yeah, those guys. Are they involved in another civil war this week? But that's the beauty of the BattleTech fiction. Like, there's just an endless number of factions. Like, once you start getting into like the mercenaries and the pirates and the smaller clans, and there's something for everybody there. So, but yeah, I really like these. As Jim asked me in the other video, these are named after these just say Trinity City on the box. So I'm assuming that's a collection, which means that if these do well, maybe we'll see some other design scheme. I don't know how off the beaten path they're going to get, because This looks like futuristic, okay? Whereas two of the factions are predominantly Asian. House Kirita is Space Japan, and House Lao is Space China. And their architecture does reflect that on some of their cities. So I don't know if they're going to get so in depth that they actually get to that point. That would be nice, but I can also see where, the argument is, but it doesn't work for the other three factions, whereas these also work for Kirita and Lao. So we'll just have to see where they go with it. But fingers crossed. Love to see like the Celestial Palace or one of the actual specific buildings from BattleTech, or wherever the Dragon Throne is on Luthien. I don't know the name of I think it's just the Imperial Palace. Those would be nice. They'd be very sprawling complexes though. So.
Yeah. Also, I think it'd be neat if they did one with like a damaged building or like a destroyed building.
Yeah, that would be nice. Damaged buildings. Kind of hoping for some industrial stuff too at some point, like the big factory complexes, because planets like Hesperus 2 in Steiner space, that's like their big factory world. There's been, I think, at least a dozen different battles trying to take that planet from them, if I recall correctly. And at this point, like, none of the factories are on the surface anymore. They're all like embedded way underground, so they can't be bombed from space and things like that. But yeah, just the massive factory complexes it takes to manufacture the battle mechs, those would be nice. So, and just random industrial stuff, maybe a train system. Everyone loves trains, right? Yes. Some ports. I don't know. Amazingly, you don't see a whole lot of blue water stuff for BattleTech. There's not a whole lot of like actual naval action. There's space navy action, but just one of those things. But anyway, I look forward to seeing what they do with the line. I think these are definitely worth their while. And like I said, I'll try to put the link to the Gale Force 9 page. Gale Force 9 in general makes quality products. I've got some of their other stuff. They made some stuff for the old MechWarrior Dark Age thing I wish I would have bought. Again, more buildings in those scale, because they had like nuclear reactors and everything. Which, though, should actually still work for these. They would actually just be a little bit larger, because the clicks game, the scale's a little bit is off from these. But they also have a game I'd really like to try at some point, that Star Trek Ascendancy game we kind of looked at. If any of you have played that, let us know what you thought of it. But otherwise, let us know what you think of these. Plan on picking them up? Not picking them up? Too much? Not enough? I don't know. Am I a fool for buying all this pre-painted stuff when I could get the other stuff for like a fifth the price and spend hours and hours painting it myself, as if my time is totally worthless? Because it's not. So,
well, now you got more time to paint your battle mechs, so...
There you go, Jim. That's the positivity I look for. Yeah. So anyway, let us know what you guys thought. Like, share, subscribe, comment, all that fun stuff. But otherwise, as I say in the BattleTech universe, no guts, no galaxy.